So what was the hardest part when you first started? Like those first 3-4 months where, you were just getting started, because you guys have natural chemistry. I can see it through my TV screen. Like you two just bounce off each other, like you're playing handball at recess. So like, what was the hardest part of actually starting? Was it the tech side? Was it the editing side? Was it structuring the show? Lay it all out. What made you not sleep at night?
Well, that was mostly the anxiety, but that's a personal thing. Yeah, so Adam and I would go out to during recess and play handball, and we would just, pitch how we wanted
Kick
to do
his
this.
ass.
He would kick my ass a lot. I'm really bad at handball. I think I know Adam might answer separately because Adam does a lot more of the editing of the audio and everything like that afterwards. So if we have guests on that end up having kind of shitty audio or for whatever reason there's a lot of disturbance in the audio, like that's Adam's hell that he has to deal with, and I'm like, how you doing, bud? And like, so that's all I'm doing in the background. But I think in the beginning the main thing is that the only things that we knew was that we were going to write a script for each episode. Like I think everything else was like, we wanted to do fun facts. We also at the time were like, I think in the first episode we were like, the first segment is going to be news about like the entertainment industry in general. And obviously that like didn't last because it was too much to, put into one show.
Yeah.
So it was all just, it grew with us, but in the beginning we just had no idea what it was going to be other than the scripts itself. I think like that, even like the first 2 episodes, I think we recorded the first 2 scripts we recorded with the same people, right, Adam? Like
yeah, we somehow thought that was going to be a half hour to 45-minute show, having a news segment, guests talking about the script, doing the script, and doing a game. We thought we were going to be able to fit all of that into one episode or something.
Next thing you know, it's like 90 minutes in, and you're like, shit.
Yeah, we way overproduced it. It was way too much, and like that was the first thing to really, when every show pilot in a way sucks.
Of course,
like,
as it should.
As it should. It's just, you don't know exactly what works until you really put it out there and you have the people doing it. And it's just like, look how dry the office is and the US offices in the first episode. Like, good Lord, imagine if they were just like, this is fine, let's do the whole series like this. That's what happens to pilots. They change. That's a good thing. So we eventually we got rid of the news segment because also, we want people to go back and listen to the older episodes, even though the sound quality might be a little less at par with the current ones, which is another thing, we had to figure out and evolve. We wanted to, because they're so topical with the news segments, we didn't want that to be the first thing you hear when you tune in. Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to tune in and the first thing you hear is news, be like, I don't think this is recent, and then you're just not interested in it because you're not relating to it in any way.
Freddie Mercury's been dead for years.
Yeah, I know. I still regret reporting that on the first episode.
Yeah.
So that's something we got rid of, and we tried to kind of just work around that because we also the fun facts too was another big thing. We were kind of back and forth between how much do we want to focus on the fun facts about the show that we're featuring in the script. Because I love the fun facts, and sometimes it's just a lot, or it's it depends how long the script is or how long the game is. So it's just kind of finding a balance now between every episode, because every episode is just unique with the content that we're creating for it, and also just the chemistry between us and the guests as well. They all come into play with just how the show is going to play out in every segment now.
Yeah, because I've listened to a lot of podcasts for a lot of years, and yours is very unique. And I don't say that often about a lot of podcasts I talk to on here. Every now and then someone will surprise me, but you have like just a banter with your guests to start off, the screenplay, pretty much it's like a trivia game. What other segments do you have? Like, do you keep the same segments in every order, or do you switch it up? Like, do you do like a segment every 3 episodes, or is it kind of the same thing, rinse, wash, repeat?
So we've had, I mean, there was, for the most part, we've fallen into, I think, the structure that's worked for the show now, where, we come in, Adam and I riff in the beginning. Sometimes it's a hit or miss, depending on whatever we
Yeah.
talk about. We bring the guests in, we talk with them. We found that that's a good way to also just break the ice with them in case they're a little,
Yeah.
quieter or anything like that. That's been good. Just talking about something random, right? Like there was, we did our Garfield furries episode, which is
God.
might not be the best one to talk about to
Yeah.
sell
Why?
this show,
Don't
but
lead off with that.
well, no, because I'm talking about, we had, and just the discussion in the beginning of it ended up being like the logistics of money in the ghost world, and like who's on the ghost dollar and who's on like the ghost $5 bill, and like, and everything like that. Random shit that had nothing to do with, Garfield, obviously, but by doing that, it, got everyone into this flow that I think worked really well for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Then we have things like, so we have that, we bring in the guests, yada, yada, yada. We move into our regular facts, which we've kind of started to lovingly call the fax machine, which
Love
is
it.
just, a little bit of, general background of the whatever we're talking about that day. And then we do the fun facts, things that people, generally probably don't know about the production, or like silly little things that we found out that we wanted to share. Then we move into the script itself. Now actually what we've started doing as well is we've started putting in a spot for where we hope we'll eventually have advertisements, but we've been writing our own. So I don't know if there was in the Blues Clues episode or not. I think maybe.
I think so. Yeah, there should have been.
So we started doing those, and then the script, and then we have our guests advertise for themselves, like whatever they're into,
Right. Plugs, of course.
Yeah, little plugs, stuff like that. And then we do our little game at the end. And all of that stuff was like stuff we had to figure out how, it worked. Like we moved the plugs before the game because we were like, okay, no one's going to want to listen to plugs if they know that that's the last, like there's nothing else left in the episode, right?
Yeah.
So we moved them there so that people would listen to the plugs for the, our guests. And then you also get to listen to whatever the game, the content after that. But even for our season finale, we decided to switch it up because I talked to Adam and I said, hey, I think this script has a heavy hitting ending. I think because it's our season finale, the way that it ends is a nice like final note and send off for the season instead of having the plugs and the game and everything like that. I think it's a stronger ending.
Yeah.
So we will change it up, when it feels right. But I think I speak for both of us when I say that like what it has evolved into structure wise, we try to keep to each episode because we've started to find that that's what works, right?
Yeah. For me, like I think the logic behind it is, because the episode is typically named after whatever the script is called for it. So if we're going to talk about Blues Clues or SpongeBob or whatever, or unfortunately furries and Garfield, we want to lead off with the fun facts because then there's personally from a production standpoint, there's not really too much of a point to talk about after doing the script. Like it kind of feels like we've done the big grand part of it. So the game is fun. I love doing the games. What we did when quarantine started was we did kind of like a video live show, which is it's on our Facebook, and it's also uploaded as a podcast episode for anyone who wants to listen. But we did those live shows, and for the most part, they were just games. Because we have, the people we have who we also have the pleasure of calling our friends. We have on as guests are just hilarious, or they're so good at improv and all this stuff. So the games are great. So having that at the end of the show after the script read is just, I think, the perfect way to kind of like unwind from the episode. And it's still, I sometimes I hear praise specifically for the games or not because like the game went well, but Justin and I have done a pretty good job at coming up with these like original game concepts too.
Thank you for watching this clip of the Ambiguous Podcast Solution featuring the Pitch This podcast. If you are out there looking to start your own podcast, I hope this clip helped you in a way to help you form the structure of your podcast. Main takeaway, try different things and don't be stuck to a script. Innovate and try new things. And if you want more information about the Pitch This podcast, description down below has a link to their page on Ambiguous Podcast Solutions. They are a partner of us. Help them out. Listen to their podcast. Donate $5 if you got it. And yeah, click more videos, subscribe to the channel, all the fun stuff. Appreciate all the support. Until next time, take care.